congratulations on the show for many years.
Yeah, thank you.
You've been on the show for many years. Does it still feel like a blur, the years that you've been there, everything, or have you got used to it now these days?
So much has happened in 11 years. And when I started in the show, I thought, I'll be on this gig for maybe a year. 11 years later, and it's flown by. It's flown by. I think partly because I became a director on the show. I wasn't a director before. It's a blur and it's a blessing. And every day everybody's still engaged. We still love the job. We're still blown away that people still love the show as much as they do, the fans. We're just lucky, as actors and creatives, that we get to do our craft, get paid for it, and for people to actually be watching it. A lot of the time, as an actor, you make all this effort to make a film or whatever, and then 9 times out of 10, it either doesn't get shown or not many people watch it, or it kind of just fizzles away. So to be on a show that really is watched is special. It really is special, and it's rare.
Yeah, it's almost like being part of The Simpsons, I guess, in the sense of how long it's gone on for. That's because it's such a strange thing. Because a lot of big shows, I'm a big fan of, say, like sitcoms. Big Bang Theory went for 12 years, and it felt like it was coming to an end in a natural way. Whereas your show, just the propulsion of it is extraordinary.
I think that's a testament to the writers. The fact that they can continue to re-energize the show and revitalize the show and reconnect the show to current events. I think that's what we've been doing really well recently, is staying very relevant, still in an entertaining way, and for it to be funny. It's a dramedy, essentially, comedy drama, but, not shying away from wrestling with real issues that America and the world are dealing with. This season is all about COVID-19, as it should be. And I think it's I'm really proud that the writers can do that. I don't know how they do it. They're amazing to me.
Yeah. Was it always, obviously it's the real world is kind of a place where they draw inspiration from anyway, but I guess over the last year it's changed the dynamic of the show in some ways, in the sense that it is the thing that in that field of work and everything, it is the thing to talk about. I mean, have you been, I guess excited is the wrong word, but have you enjoyed the fact that they've, as you say, they've taken the real world on again and just said, right, we need to address this in the show and talk about it.
I mean, I think we deal with it. Part of our job this season has been to really shine a light on the sacrifice and the heroism of the medical professions across the world. Like we in our small way, in our little TV show, are telling stories about the toll and the inspirational things that are coming out of COVID-19 but the exhaustion and the relentlessness and the struggles and the frustrations of medical people who are just doing as much as they can to keep us all safe and alive. And so I feel really honored that we're getting to be part of that storytelling. And also because there's so much misinformation out there about mask wearing, about vaccines, I feel as though we're almost partly a public health service, that we get to disseminate the truth about what's going on in this pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, one of the great things about the show is that you've had this amazing cast all the way through, and you managed to change and bring exciting new people in, and they've left and then new people have come in, and you've been there for a lot of that. It must be exciting to see new faces come in and kind of new energies come in and new people as well.
Yeah, it's great. New people in the show is the lifeblood of our show, I think. It's weird to think. I still feel like I'm the new guy on the block, because I started in season 5, but I'm not the new guy anymore.
And there's a lot of shows as well that have gone on for a long time, and the characters have changed so much so that the original cast kind of have disappeared, and they've brought new people. But you've still got at the tip, the guys that, especially Ellen, have been there all the way through. I'm
like a semi-OG now. I'm not a full OG.
But I mean, that's testament to the show, the fact that they have stuck around the whole way through. I mean, it's 17 years. I mean, it's an incredible length of time to do one job.
Such a blessing. Actors never get a gig like this. Actors never get a chance to really kind of set down roots and watch their kids grow and be home on a TV show. Most of us are living out of suitcases in hotel rooms in different weird places in the world where you're filming. So to get to not only do a great gig that people watch, but also get to be home and be around for your family, such a blessing. it can't be underestimated, the blessing that it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, with certain shows, you know, you have a kind of the story of a character, and sometimes it's done over 5 years. You know, it's truncated a little bit, so over 10 years. For you to do something for 12 years at least, I mean, that's an incredible journey for your character to be on, and for you to play him, because he's been through so much. And it's almost like a real life. You know, 12 years is almost, you know, it's kind of
Well, I think that's partly why the fans are so connected to the show now, is that they get to really see these people evolve in almost real time. You know.
Yeah, and I guess you could, you know, relationships and stuff, they become sort of normal time. You know, it's not like 24 episodes where you get like, it's like years with different people. Right. It's extraordinary thing. I mean, why? Obviously, you mentioned there about why people do it, but do you think there's always been a lure of the medical profession in terms of people's interest? Because I was just talking to one of the guys from 911 about firefighters and first responders, and this is very similar. I mean, do you think that's why people are drawn to this particular kind
I think so. I think, you know, because doctors and nurses really they get to see the kind of extreme parts of existence, you know, and they get to help people through life-changing moments in their life, you know, and the stakes are really high. The stakes are really, really high, and one mistake can result in somebody's death. So, you know, and then if you save somebody's life, it can, against the odds, it can be the most transformational thing ever. So I think that's the reason why people are always attracted to those stories.
Yeah, and it kind of pierces the zeitgeist as well, in the sense that other shows obviously talk about it. I'm a huge fan of Scrubs, and one of the things they used to do later in the series was to poke fun at Grey's Anatomy and say, "Oh, it's like real life, you know, it's like Grey's Anatomy." That's a strange thing as well, the fact that it punctures the pop culture, and other shows and other people are talking about it in various ways. Because I always found that funny in Scrubs, that it's a show and it's kind of meta that they talk about Grey's Anatomy. Grey's Anatomy is the fake thing, and theirs is
weird. That is weird for me. It's so part of the culture at this point, you know. And listen, again, I'm just doing my small cog of this big machine. People like Shonda Rhimes and Chris Barnos, who create the show and keep the show in that zeitgeist. I don't know how they do it. Their minds work in this other level.
Yeah, and have you set yourself a plan of when you might say goodbye, or you're just going with the flow until they tell you otherwise?
I am going with the flow, my man. Listen, I'm like, I should have been a plumber. You know, my dad is a plumber. My mum worked in a lemonade factory. I am so blessed. I'm so happy. Like, the reason I'm going with the flow is that I love the character, even though he can drive me nuts sometimes, because I think he makes bad choices sometimes. But I love the character because he's so flawed. I love the people I get to work with, and I love the crew, you know, and I love all the writers. Like, it really is like a second family. Especially, I'm a kind of a UK transplant who's, you know, essentially emigrated out here, so it feels like this family that I've become part of.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, long may it continue. Long may it
continue.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much for your time. Absolute pleasure. And stay safe.
Nice to talk to you. Stay safe.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey!